Welcome everyone to another JDM racing video in F122. It's my team and we're in Spain, Catalunya, for the Spanish Grand Prix, round 6. And coming into this race, I mean it's an aero track, so I don't think that there's going to be too much in the way that we can change things or really make proper gains at this race, but with the car we've got, hopefully with the engine we've got, certainly for the start finish straight we should be in a good position to try and make some good gains in terms of that, just pure top speed. But we're going to give it our best shot anyway. Apparently the weather forecast has denoted that it's most likely going to be a wet race, so I think on balance the car is probably better in the dry than the wet, but again, we're going to just do the best we can and see how far up the grid we can get ready for Sunday afternoon. Let's see.
Welcome along then to what promises to be another fascinating Spanish Grand Prix. It's a race which saw Max Verstappen take victory on his first ever appearance with the Red Bull team in 2016, after that dramatic coming together of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. Will we see more moments for the scrapbook here today? It's 730 metres from pole position down to a slippery turn 1 here, the first of 16 corners around this 2.89 mile racetrack. The long, wide turn 3 and the uphill right-hander of turn 9 can both be taken full throttle in the right conditions, but I doubt very much we'll be seeing any of that today. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Russell, Lando Norris and Perez, Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo, Gasly and Gardner, Ocon, Tsunoda and Sir Lewis Hamilton. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Bottas, Joe, Magnussen, Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, Albon, Mick Schumacher, Oscar Piastri and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Not one of the easiest days to go racing. It's damp, it's slippery, there's dark clouds as far as the eye can see. The rain is here then, and that's going to take away a lot of the grip. Anthony Davidson, that's going to make turn 1 very interesting indeed.
Yes, it's these kind of conditions where you can go in with one of two mindsets. You can either see it as an opportunity, or you're worried that all your hard work is going to be undone. We've been stuck with these conditions for, well, a few hours now, at more or less this level of intensity. But we don't have too much standing water. We're not going to be starting behind the safety car, so, like you say, the charge down to turn 1 will be quite interesting. I think we're in for a cracking Grand Prix.
Right then, the formation lap has started, and I must say the weather conditions aren't the best today for visibility and for grip. As each driver performs this lap, they'll be wanting to settle in and concentrate, as this race, these conditions, will require a lot of focus.
So, another Ferrari front row lockout. We are in 10th. it's going to be very, very treacherous today. We're going to have our work cut out to try and keep this points paying position by the end of the race. And really, we're going to have to just try and maintain, not get into any unwanted altercations, bumping and banging going on. We're going to want to shut that down and get straight onto the back of hopefully whoever's in 9th place. Focusing on a good start will be key. Alright, off we go then. Ocon comes flying past, as does the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. We're going to break down into turn 1. We were quite aggressive there. And I think we've got Perez. He was just on the inside there. One of the McLarens, yep, Ricciardo is fishtailing out of that corner. So we're up to 8. Replay the start then, and the Ferraris would have wanted to get off to a good start. Leclerc looks like he got away well, leading the pack. He moves over to block Sainz, and then George Russell, Max Verstappen trying to jockey for 3rd. Verstappen looks like he's making a move on Sainz for 2nd place, but Sainz just sees him off. So Leclerc still leads from out of pole position, back to Sainz, back to Verstappen, and then Russell on lap 1.
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
So being brave into turn 1 actually did us a favour there. The 2 Alpines behind, and they are not going to be slow either.
Here's some information on Tsunoda for you. They've got an issue with their car, they're going to be slow.
We're quite drastically underfilled.
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilise some of this energy. Come on.
In the hopes that with it being wet weather, we can save a bit of fuel and not be overfilled by the end, which is unnecessary weight.
If you can get past, make use of the overtake button and see what you can do.
Couldn't even see behind me then with all the rain. Oh, went a bit deep there. It doesn't look like Lewis Hamilton's making any inroads either back there behind the AlphaTauri. Gonna try and use the ERS to just give us a little bit of cushion into the corner, into the turn 1. Outbraked him.
Right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
A virtual safety car.
Okay, VSC ending. We're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags. There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
So we got caught under the safety car, the virtual one.
13.4 seconds.
Managed to defend into turn 1 again. The full-on defensive job today. Now 5 seconds off the back of Perez. Got Alonso and Ocon now, trying to get past each other. Now Hamilton is making a move, it looks like. Now Hamilton's got past the Alpines. He's come alive all of a sudden. Oh, he's just come up the inside. Barges onto the gravel and then overtakes us. So Hamilton knocks us down to 9th and knocks us into the gravel. He's on the way through, trying to get on with it. There goes Alonso. Can we get him under braking again? We do, but we've overshot it.
Suggests the rain's going to be lightening up over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. We should start finding more grip as we clear the standing water.
We've still got Ocon behind.
Behind is 8.5 seconds.
Just clinging on to this last point for now. Ocon's gone over the curb there. We're out on the white line, which is extremely dangerous. Now Gasly.
But there's no question the track's drying. We might be in a position to change soon.
We've just got to hope something goes on with the cars ahead of us now, because I don't think pace-wise we're going to be able to keep with them. So half distance, Charles Leclerc still leading the race from his teammate Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen. George Russell just hanging on in the background there as well. Ferrari look like they have the pace today to be able to cover this one off. No pit stops, but we'll see if they can manage it as the race wears on. Looks like the Ferraris are exchanging blows up the front as well as fastest laps. Here's Nicholas Latifi back in 20th position on lap 12 and braking down into turn 1. Looks like he just gets on the power a bit too early, does a full 360. And Oscar Piastri in the JDM has just gone past. Latifi drops to 21st, Piastri up to 20th, and it looks like Guan Yu Zhou might be getting involved there in the background to try and take that place off Latifi as well. So an unforced error from Latifi in the rain to put himself under some pressure there.
Try and close the gap to the car ahead. It's currently 2 seconds up the road.
I'm trying, Mark. I feel like, yeah, the tyres are shot. Nearly 50% wear on the front left. That's what's killing me at the moment. 2 laps to go. These corners, the long right-handers, they are absolutely destroying my front left tyre. We do enough to hold Gasly back still. Still there. We're going to move over to the inside. He follows us. He's going to try and get the slipstream.
You've lost some time to the car behind.
Yeah, I can see him. He's right in my mirrors mark. Here comes Charles Leclerc then, rounding the last couple of turns. He has been absolutely phenomenal today, hasn't put a foot wrong. And with this win, it should move him to first place in the Drivers' Championship, and it's well deserved. Charles Leclerc wins the Spanish Grand Prix for Ferrari, and it's a 1-2 with Carlos Sainz coming home second for the prancing horse as well. Max Verstappen rounding out the podium.
Okay, we're reaching a danger point with the wear on the MGU-H. Overheating the engine will exacerbate the issue, so keep temps under control, please.
Charles Leclerc has dominated this weekend, really. Mark is saying we've got MGU-H problems now. 65% weight. It's more the ICE and the traction control. The turbocharger. Got some dodgy parts we're going to have to replace. We're going to hold on for 11th. It's a disappointment to finish just outside the points. But all things considered, on an aero track, which our car isn't the strongest in, that's not a bad result, really. Lewis Hamilton got driver of the day.
Another Spanish Grand Prix is over, and what a special race it was.
Was it a Ferrari 1-2 though? Verstappen was third.
Natalie Pinkham, how do you think
It
they
was
were
a
able to
1-2,
set
so
themselves
Ferrari
apart today?
I think it was clear
are the
what
form
main
team at the
contributing
moment.
factor out of the track was speed. It sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Charles Leclerc was definitely fast.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Charles Leclerc taking another win. So he may well lead the championship now. I don't think Perez scored that many points. Be interested to see if he got past the McLarens. Okay, so unpacking this Spanish Grand Prix result, we've got Charles Leclerc winning from his teammate for another Ferrari 1-2 with Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz must have got the fastest lap on the last lap. I mean, I was too busy trying to defend Gasly. I saw Leclerc was popping in fastest laps, but maybe I missed Sainz doing one. So he's actually nicked that extra point. I mean, perfect weekend for Ferrari, really. And that's exactly what they would have hoped for coming in. Verstappen leading the way for Red Bull, which he hasn't done a lot of this season. It's more been Perez being the point man. So it's interesting that Verstappen managed to basically be the lead Red Bull and he was only 2.2 seconds off the lead. So the front three again, same as in I think it was Jeddah, crossing the line almost, well, pretty much all grouped together. George Russell a little bit further back. He was obviously started fourth, finished fourth, and was about 10 seconds ahead of the cars behind. So not quite on pace with the front two teams, but Mercedes solid third. Lewis obviously, Hamilton starting, I think he had that grid penalty, so starting a bit further down, did make up some places in the wet. He does traditionally go well in the wet, but could only get up to 8th. McLaren's 5th and 7th, that's a very solid result for them, and they'll be happy. Danny Rick will be happy with that especially. So a solid weekend for McLaren. Sergio Perez started 6th, finished 6th, and actually had to come back past the McLaren in order to get that 6th place. So a bad start, but managed to consolidate, get some points, but in that battle with Leclerc, he doesn't want to be having too many results like this, because it's going to hamper his championship progress. The Alpines, 9th and 10th, I mean, they got away from us. We managed to match them earlier on in the race, but as the race wore on, it became clear that they just had too much pace for us. So we finished just outside the top 10. Miss out on points today, but I think we still had a relatively good showing, considering, like I said, our car isn't optimized for this type of circuit. We held off Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri, and we did actually finish. It's not like we were having a train behind us. We actually were about 4.5 seconds ahead of Lance Stroll, so we kind of found our pace relative to the rest of the field, and it was good enough for just outside the points. So it's not like we were out of position and then just staving a train of like 8 cars off at the end. But it's interesting that these cars were all pretty much bunched together. Stroll, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Bottas, Albon, Vettel, Schumacher. They were all... That's basically what Lance Stroll was doing, was being that cork in the bottle. But again, there's not really much that Oscar Piastri could have done, because he had lack of pace today. So he was 10 seconds behind Mick Schumacher, and then obviously something must have happened with Zhou. Maybe that was what the safety car was, and I mean Latifi is Latifi doing Latifi things. So it is what it is. That result puts Charles Leclerc top of the Drivers' Championship, with Sergio Perez dropping to 3rd, and Carlos Sainz very, very sneakily just slipping in behind his teammate and just nicking that extra point, so the gap would have been 5 and has gone to 4. Verstappen, with his more reliable finishing positions, is now starting to catch Perez up a little bit. Stuff is starting to even out. Russell and Hamilton pretty much level pegging as well, and then you've got the McLarens and the Alpines embroiled in their battle as well. Ocon probably needs to get up on par with Alonso though and help out Alpine in that battle. But we're again, haven't scored since round 2, but we're still there in 10th place. As for the constructors, Ferrari nearly 50 points ahead of Red Bull, with Mercedes a comfortable 3rd. McLaren's just starting to pull away from Alpine, and we're pretty much embroiled in a battle with AlphaTauri for 6th place. So that was the race, and I guess we'll take the team forwards and see how we go in the next race. But that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more JDM racing action, then hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already for more JDM racing action. And until next time, I'll say thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.